Colleen wrote into FitOldDog's blog about a question around the yoga toes that he posted, and would that be helpful for arthritis? So I'm just going to show first that we have a model of a foot and how many little joints there are in the foot. And when we have arthritis or other conditions where the foot cannot articulate all of these joints, then we don't get full range of movement and we get pain. So one of the things that we might want to do just to prepare the toes for getting the yoga toes on is just taking your fingers and circling and see if you can begin to articulate the little joints. When you do something like running that has repetitive movement on it, there often is a density and pressure buildup. So micro movements, little variations of ways to move all the joints in the foot are going to help open up the fluid nature of the tissue and help dissolve those compressed patterns. So once you've begun to move each little joint and maybe separate the toes, move them back and forth, next you get to try to put the little gel packs on. And sometimes putting something like a little bit of lotion can help if your feet are tight. But as you slide this in between each toe, you'll already, just from the nature of putting them on, can you see this? Is this good? From the nature of putting them on, you can feel the stretch of the foot. You might see these veins starting to move, the long bones. And then I just start to micro move. I just move my foot around, all these different little variations. I can scrunch, I can stretch, I can try to touch one toe down at a time. All these little ways will start to open up all the joints and articulations in the foot. One other thing that can be helpful is making sound is a good way to open the fluid in the tissue. And the bones are filled with fluid. And the fascia that gets very tight in arthritis, we're going to want to be more in a wave motion than in that tight buildup. So by moving your toes and making the sound that sounds like a J and a Z, sort of like a buzzing sound, it penetrates bone tissue. And so I can play with my toes and touch them, play with my foot and wiggle them as I That might be enough, but as you're ready to just progress a little bit more, standing on them and seeing how much you can go over that toe hinge and roll to the outside and the inside, and letting the toes come up and point will be another layer of getting more and more articulation and movement. And when I take this off and I stand, I feel a lot more activity and spread of this foot that can move than the one that hasn't had the yoga toes on. So as a beginner, I would suggest doing one foot at a time because it's really nice to compare the difference. That's all for now.